Well, hello there, Tom Green, coming back at you with some fireworks goodness. And today's goodness involves the relationship between fireworks and Flash. It never ceases to amaze me that the weapon of choice for many Flash developers is Photoshop, when fireworks offers them quite a robust tool set that allow them to quickly create their Flash projects in an efficient manner. And that's what I thought I'd cover off today is sort of the relationship between the two and how you can quickly move between the two and get your ideas literally from idea to on the web in a very short time. So here we go. What I've got here is a wireframe. It's just a simple little interface that uses a couple of images. It's going to follow my trips. I'm going to have a great big 1280 by 720 video sitting in this box right here. And I'm going to put images from the various cities that I've been to and a little more button in here. And what this does is it just gives me the opportunity to sort of work out my ideas and where stuff goes and things like that. I could actually take this even more fundamental and just break it down into simple boxes and things like that. But I sometimes like to work this way, just sort of where do things go? What does it look like? What kind of colors am I going to be using and stuff like that. Once I've got that done, I get it all layered up. I get everything in place. And one of the great things about working with the fireworks layers panel is you can put layers into folders, so you can put all kinds of stuff into these folders so you get everything sort of organized. And then once I've got that done and I looked at it and I said, yeah, that kind of works for me. I kind of like how the font works, where the stuff is. Then I thought, okay, how am I going to start laying in the images? And this is kind of where the pages feature comes in. So I've got the wireframe here and now I've got the comp. And what I did with each of these images was basically open up the original image, resize it down, take out the background, and throw a white glow around it. And then this image here is a screenshot of the video that's going to go in the background. It was taken in Beijing. There's this really amazing factory that just hisses steam and stuff like that. And I thought, wow, it'd be kind of neat to kind of throw that in the background as a video. And again, I've got all these little bits and pieces in place, and I can quickly, take a look at it and make sure that I've got the images where I want them and how I want them, and everything looks the way it's supposed to look, and I'm really quite happy with the placement. And now what I want to do is just sort of get all this over to Flash. Now, what I want to do here is not export this whole thing to Flash. That's kind of useless because Flash uses the text layout framework for text, so I can use Flash's text capability, so I don't need to move the text. The video, well, gosh almighty, I'm going to be throwing in a video object anyway, so I don't need that. It was just there for position only. But I do need the button, and I need the 3 images. That's all I need. So what I did was I took the images and put them in a separate file right here called Flash PNG. And what it is it's just a series of pages with each of the images. So there's the Bear and Bear, there's the More button, there's Beijing, and there's New York. Okay, so I've brought those in. Now, the More button is actually kind of interesting because it is a fireworks button. It is a fully functioning fireworks button. If I go to Preview and roll over it, you can see there it is, and there's the down state. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the original. And just to prove to you that it is indeed a live button, I'm just going to double click it. And I'm going to pull the properties panel up here. And you can see there's the up state right there. There's the over state. There's the down state. And you Flash guys know what the active area is. That's the hit state. So I can actually throw in an active area. And all that does is I can make this area around the button bigger. That's all. And then all I do is just follow the breadcrumb trail back to the More button. And I'm going to put my properties panel back. There we go. And I am ready to go here. Now, other things I can do. I can really jam down these images if I so choose by selecting an image in the page and then just going to the Optimize panel, which is right here, and I can compare the file size compared to the original. The original is currently at a quality of 90%. So we'll just take that up to 90%, and we'll make it JPEG better quality. There we go, 80%. And you see that the image itself is 15.1K, and will take approximately 2 seconds to download on a 56K modem. But if I take the JPEG quality here, now this is kind of what I like about this application. Just going to move that over so you can see it. If I take the JPEG quality and just knock it back to smaller file, I want a smaller file, it knocks the quality back to 60%. It becomes slightly smaller. I don't lose a lot of detail here. And you notice the file size has plummeted. So I can start looking at what's the best way to go. How can I make these smaller without sacrificing massive amounts of quality? Okay, so I'm going to go back to the original, and I can, as I said, I can go through these and jam them down and do what I need to do, but I'm just going to leave this the way it is. All right, so I've got that done. So I've prepared my comp. My comp works. I've got the pieces I need to go into Flash, the 3 images and the button, and now I'm going to hop over to Flash and assemble the whole project. So come over to Flash, and there it is. Now this is where it gets really cool. Now you'll notice that in the Flash timeline, I have put everything where it belongs. I've even got the little separators in there. And I've got the text in, and I've used a different font because I wasn't too thrilled with the font I was using. This is a Minion font. And now what I'm going to do is just bring in that Flash document. So it's File, Import, Import to Library. Everything that I work with in Fireworks to Flash always goes into the library. So if I find the Flash file, there it is, Flash PNG, I click Open, I'm going to be asked about importing a Fireworks document. And I'm going to bring in new frames as movie clips. I'm going to be bringing in the bitmaps to maintain appearance. There's no text in here, so there's nothing there. So I just click OK. And by the way, import all pages. Look, there are the pages from the Flash document in Fireworks. So I'm going to bring all 4 of these pages in, and I don't have to bring in 4 separate images. Click OK. And what I get here is a movie clip. Okay, this movie clip, if I open it up, has just the 4 images in it. And I really don't need it, so I can delete this. So I'm just going to take that and click the trash can here, get rid of it. And then a Fireworks Objects folder comes in, and this shows me the layering of the various objects that I have brought into Flash. Now, here's the Beijing image right there, and you can see there it is. So if I go to Beijing and select the image layer, I can drag the Beijing image onto the stage. There it is. And I'm just going to move it up. Now you notice that line there shows me the alignment, so I can quickly align this with the text. And I need the More button, and there it is there, and I'm just going to rename it to More. And I'm going to do something cool with it. I'm going to open it up. It's a fully functioning button symbol in Flash. It really is, folks. I'm going to add a new layer to it. And because it's a steam plant video, I want to have a steam sound, so I went and found a hiss. Have some fun with that one. So I'm just going to insert a keyframe here in the overstate, and then I'm just going to pull the hiss in. If you want to hear what it sounds like, here it is. Okay, so we've got that done. Okay, back to scene 1. And I'm going to pull the More button in. Of course, it would help if I selected the button layer, wouldn't it? And so there goes the More button. And I'm just going to put that in place. And you can see that it goes there. And just move it down a little bit. There we go. And now I can just repeat the process for the New York. There's the image. So I open up New York, which is in Y. There's the New York movie clip. Now, the cool thing about this is that these come in as movie clips, which means if you're a Flash guy it means that you can really go to town on these things, because movie clips can be masked and manipulated and otherwise played with, and you can even play with them with ActionScript. In this case, I'm just going to leave them alone. And I'm going to go get my More button. So I'll just get the button, throw the More button in there. And again, just line it up, see? And then over to Bairn, and we're going to grab that bear. So there's the image. Oh, we got Bairn. There's the bear. And we'll move him up and line him up with the bottom and with the side of the text. There we go. So he's all lined up. And then we'll just go grab the More button. And it's essentially done. I'm serious. It's done. And if I test the movie, Command Enter or Control Return, or Command Return or Control Enter, depending on which platform you're using, there's the video. There's the button. And you can see that I've quickly created a Flash project from Fireworks layouts. And if you want to see what this thing looks like in the browser, let me just open up the browser, File, Open File, and we're just going to navigate over to the folder where it's located, which is right here. And there it is. And all I did was throw this into Dreamweaver and just move it over to the center of the page. But there you go. There's the project from basically concept to upload in the amount of time that I have been talking to you. Now, of course, there are a couple of things in here that most of you, or some of you, may not be aware of. The video itself is actually inside a movie clip right here. And it is driven by ActionScript. So if I open up the Actions panel, you can see that it's driven by ActionScript. And what this little chunk of code does right here is it just basically says when the video hits the end, go back to the start. But that's what drives the whole thing. And now here's what makes this thing so fascinating. This is what I love about working with Fireworks and Flash. If I take my SWIFT and get info on it, I'm about 130K, which is not, massive stuff, considering the fact, especially, that the F4V file that we're using is 11.5 megabytes. So there are some really interesting things that you can do. Now, speaking of interesting things that you can do with Flash, I should mention to you that you can also use Fireworks to create interface elements for Flash. And one of the best examples I can think of is from a friend of mine, Jose Angel Rivera Dominguez, who lives in Mexico City, Mexico. I was writing a book, Foundation Flash Flash Videos, CS3, for Friends of Ed, and I was looking at creating a custom controller for video. And here's Jose's controller right here. This whole controller here is created in Fireworks. It's a custom controller. It does everything it's supposed to do. Notice that everything is in movie clips. There's the video object. There's that little video. There's the Fireworks object, so they've come in right there. It's all into movie clips, as I said, and it's all laid out, and it's all driven by ActionScript. And if I just minimize everything here and pop back to Custom Player, there's Jose's SWIFT, and I'll just double click it. And all the controls are live. All the controls are live. I can pause the video. I can play the video. I can rewind it, see? I can adjust the audio here. I can take it big, take it small. There it is, big. There it is, small. All kinds of things that I can do with a simple fireworks document created for use in Flash. So there you go. There's a couple of really good examples of where fireworks fits into the workflow. Again, I'm not telling you to give up Photoshop. What I'm saying is that you can also use fireworks, and you notice that I was able to create a symbol in fireworks that was fully functioning in Flash. Didn't have to create it. In the next installment of this series, I'm going to take a look at the relationship of fireworks and catalyst, and I think you're really going to like this one. I'll see you there.